The alarm klaxon echoed through the crystalline corridors of Deep Station Theta 7, its harmonious tones designed to alert rather than frighten. Coordinator Zenthar's 6 delicate appendages danced across the bioluminescent control interface, his pearl-like eyes widening as the data streams flowed past him. "Impossible," he whispered, his voice carrying the musical quality of his people, the melodic collective. For 200 years, they had maintained perfect harmony among the 17 species of the Resonance Alliance. No unknown vessel had ever approached their space without proper attunement to their communication frequencies. "Coordinator," chimed his aide, Valana, her crystalline form shimmering with anxiety. "The vessel refuses to sync with our harmonic protocols. It's using primitive electromagnetic radiation for propulsion." Zenthar felt a discordant note of fear strike his consciousness. The Alliance had evolved beyond such crude methods millennia ago. Their ships moved through space by resonating with the quantum frequencies of reality itself, creating beautiful symphonies of motion that could be heard across star systems. "What are their harmonic signatures?" he asked. "That's just it, Coordinator. They have none. Their ship is silent. It's like a dead zone moving through space." 18 light hours away, Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Prometheus, her weathered hands gripping the command rail. The ship's fusion engines hummed with the steady pulse of controlled nuclear fire, a sound that had become as familiar to her as her own heartbeat during the 3-year journey to this system. "Ma'am," called out Communications Officer Rodriguez from his station, "we're picking up some kind of structured signals from the inner system. They're not electromagnetic, though. It's something else entirely." Chen nodded, her dark eyes studying the tactical display. After 20 years commanding Earth's deep space exploration vessels, she had learned to trust her instincts. Something about this first contact felt different from the simulations. "Any response to our standard greeting packages?" she asked. "Negative, Captain. We've been broadcasting on all frequencies for 6 hours. Mathematical sequences, prime numbers, even music. Nothing." Lieutenant Commander Thompson, the ship's xenobiologist, looked up from his analysis station. "Captain, I've been studying the energy signatures from those signals. They're using some form of quantum resonance communication. It's incredibly sophisticated, but it operates on principles we've never encountered." Chen felt the familiar weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. The Prometheus carried humanity's hopes for establishing peaceful contact with alien civilizations. One wrong move could doom any chance of friendship between the species. But if you're enjoying this story of first contact and want to see how humanity overcomes the impossible, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We've got more incredible HFY stories coming your way every week. "Sir," Navigation Officer Park called out, "I'm detecting multiple contacts converging on our position. At least 20 vessels, all using that same quantum propulsion system." Chen studied the tactical display as the alien ships moved into what could only be described as a containment formation. Their movements were graceful, almost dance-like, but there was no mistaking the tactical implications. Back on Deep Station Theta 7, Coordinator Zenthar was facing his own crisis. The arrival of the silent ship had disrupted the delicate harmonic balance of their entire sector. Ships throughout the system were reporting navigation difficulties as the alien vessel's crude engines created electromagnetic interference that clashed with their quantum resonance systems. "Coordinator," Valana reported, her voice carrying notes of deep concern. "The Healers Guild is reporting that the electromagnetic radiation from the alien ship is causing dissonance sickness among our people. 7 stations have requested emergency evacuation." Zenthar's worst fears were being realized. Not only was the alien vessel refusing to communicate properly, but its very presence was harmful to Alliance citizens. The ancient protocols were clear. Vessels that threatened the harmonic balance of space must be contained or destroyed. Signal the defense chorus, Paul ordered reluctantly. Again, standard containment procedures. If they will not harmonize with us, we must protect our people. On the Prometheus, the situation was deteriorating rapidly. The alien ships had formed a perfect sphere around the human vessel, and strange energy readings were beginning to affect the ship's systems. "Captain," Chief Engineer Okafor called from the engine room, "our fusion containment is starting to fluctuate. Something about their energy fields is interfering with our magnetic bottles." "How long before we have a problem?" Chen asked. "At this rate, maybe 2 hours before we have to emergency shutdown. We'd be dead in space." Chen felt her jaw tighten. 20 years of deep space exploration had taught her that showing weakness to unknown aliens was often fatal. But she also knew that humanity's first contact with a galactic civilization could determine the fate of Earth itself. "Rodriguez, have you made any progress on their communication system?" "Some, Captain. I think they're trying to get us to match some kind of frequency pattern. But our equipment isn't designed for quantum resonance communication. It's like trying to sing to someone when you're tone deaf." The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Lisa Park, the ship's physicist, had been analysing the quantum resonance patterns with growing excitement. "Captain," she announced, "I think I understand what's happening. These aliens don't just use quantum resonance for communication, they use it for everything. Their entire civilization is based on harmonic principles. Our electromagnetic emissions aren't just noise to them, they're actually painful." Chen stared at the data streaming across Dr. Park's console. "Are you saying that ship is hurting them just by being here?" "More than that. Our fusion engines create electromagnetic fields that completely disrupt their quantum systems. To them, we're not just aliens, we're a walking catastrophe." The implications hit Chen like a physical blow. Humanity had spent decades preparing for first contact, but all their scenarios had assumed aliens would use technology similar to their own. They had never considered that their mere presence might be seen as an act of aggression. "Can we modify our systems to reduce the interference?" she asked. Dr. Park shook her head. "Not without shutting down our fusion reactors entirely. And even then, our electronics would still generate enough electromagnetic noise to disrupt their systems." The situation reached a critical point when one of the alien ships moved closer to the Prometheus. The increased proximity caused a cascade failure in the alien vessel's quantum resonance systems, sending it tumbling out of control. "Captain!" shouted Thompson. "The alien ship is losing power. It's going to crash into our hull." Chen's training took over. "Emergency maneuvers! Move us away from that ship!" But the Prometheus's sudden acceleration created a massive electromagnetic pulse that swept across the alien formation. 7 more ships lost power, their graceful quantum drives failing as the crude but powerful human technology overwhelmed their delicate systems. To the aliens, it looked like a deliberate attack. To the humans, it looked like their attempt to help had somehow made things worse. Coordinator Zentar watched in horror as his beautiful defense chorus fell silent, their ships drifting powerless in space. The alien vessel had not fired a single weapon, yet it had disabled 8 of his finest ships simply by moving. "All ships, withdraw to safe distance," he ordered, his voice carrying the deep minor notes of grief. "Send a priority message to the Resonance Council. The aliens possess weapons beyond our understanding." If you're amazed by how a simple misunderstanding can escalate into an interstellar incident, give this video a like. It really helps us bring you more epic HFY content. The message that reached the Resonance Council 3 days later painted a terrifying picture. An alien species had appeared in Alliance space using technology that could disable their ships without firing a shot. Worse, their mere presence caused pain and sickness among Alliance citizens. Emergency sessions were called on 17 different worlds. The Melodic Collective, masters of harmonic technology, declared the aliens to be a fundamental threat to their way of life. The Crystal Singers, who had maintained peace for 2 centuries, found themselves preparing for a war they didn't understand. But not everyone was ready to give up on peace. Elder Threnara of the Wisdom Keepers had lived through the last Great War, and she remembered the price of fear and misunderstanding. "We must try to communicate," she argued before the assembled council. "These aliens may not understand what they are doing. Perhaps they can be taught to harmonize with us." "How do you harmonize with silence?" asked Marshal Kethvar of the Defense Chorus. "Their technology is fundamentally incompatible with ours. They are a discord that will destroy everything we have built." Meanwhile, on the Prometheus, Captain Chen was dealing with her own crisis. The electromagnetic interference from the alien ships was growing stronger, and her crew was starting to show signs of severe stress. "Captain," Dr. Park reported, "I've been analyzing the quantum resonance patterns. I think the aliens are trying to communicate with us, but their messages are getting lost in the electromagnetic interference we're generating." "Can you clean up the signal?" "I can try, but I'd need to shut down non-essential systems to reduce our electromagnetic footprint." Chen made the decision that would change the course of first contact. "Do it. Shut down everything except life support and basic navigation. If these aliens are trying to talk to us, we need to listen." The effect was immediate. As the Prometheus's electromagnetic emissions dropped to minimal levels, the alien quantum resonance signals became clearer. Rodriguez worked frantically to decode the patterns, and slowly, meaning began to emerge. "Captain," he said, his voice filled with wonder, "they're not trying to threaten us. They're trying to teach us. These signals, they're instruction manuals." The first successful communication between humans and the Resonance Alliance came in the form of a simple mathematical equation, transmitted through quantum resonance and received by the Prometheus's newly modified sensors. Dr. Park worked for hours to understand the alien mathematics, and when she finally grasped the concept, she laughed with delight. "They're showing us how to modulate our electromagnetic fields to create constructive interference instead of destructive interference. If we can modify our fusion reactors to pulse in harmony with their quantum frequency, we won't disrupt their systems anymore." The modifications took 3 days to implement, but when Chief Engineer Okafor finally activated the new harmonic fusion system, the results were spectacular. Instead of the chaotic electromagnetic noise that had been causing so much trouble, the Prometheus began to sing. It was a deep, thrumming bass note that resonated through space itself, adding a new voice to the cosmic symphony that the Alliance had been composing for centuries. On Deep Station Theta 7, Coordinator Zentar felt the new harmony wash over him like a healing wave. The alien ship was no longer a source of discord. It had become part of the music. "Remarkable," he whispered to Velana. "They learned to sing." The formal first contact ceremony took place on a small moon between the two fleets. Captain Chen, accompanied by Dr. Park and a small diplomatic team, met with Coordinator Zentar and representatives from 12 different Alliance species. The aliens were unlike anything humanity had imagined. The Melodic Collective resembled living crystals that rang like bells when they moved. The Harmony Weavers were cloud-like beings who communicated through changes in their gaseous forms. The Resonance Dancers moved with perfect synchronization, their six-limbed bodies creating complex patterns that were themselves a form of language. "We welcome you to the Symphony of Stars," Zentar said, his words translated through quantum resonance directly into the humans' minds. "Your voice is unique. We have never heard anything like it." Dr. Park smiled. "We've never heard anything like yours either. We have so much to learn from each other." The cultural exchange that followed transformed both civilizations. Humans learned to appreciate the subtle beauty of quantum resonance technology, while the Alliance discovered the raw power and versatility of electromagnetic engineering. But the real breakthrough came when human and alien engineers began working together. By combining quantum resonance with electromagnetic fields, they created hybrid technologies that were more powerful than either civilization could achieve alone. The first joint exploration mission launched 6 months later. The UES Harmony, built using both human and alien technology, could travel faster than any ship in known space while maintaining perfect quantum resonance with the cosmic background. Captain Chen, now promoted to Admiral, stood on the bridge of the hybrid vessel as it prepared to jump to a distant galaxy. Her crew included representatives from 8 different species, all working together in perfect harmony. "Set course for the Andromeda Galaxy," she ordered. "Let's see what other voices are waiting to join our song." As the Harmony jumped to hyperspace, its passage created a beautiful quantum resonance that could be heard across the galaxy. A signal that intelligent life existed, and that they welcomed any who wished to join their growing symphony. Now, here's a question for you. If you could choose any piece of human technology to share with an alien civilization, what would it be and why? Let us know in the comments below. I love reading your thoughts on these stories. The first human colonies in Alliance space were established 2 years later, built using harmonic architecture that resonated with the quantum frequencies of space itself. The cities were works of art, their buildings singing in harmony with the cosmic background radiation. But the humans brought more than just technology to the Alliance. They brought something that had been missing from the galactic community for centuries: the ability to improvise. The Alliance had perfected harmony, but they had forgotten how to create new melodies. Human jazz musicians working with melodic collective artists created entirely new forms of quantum music. Human engineers found ways to use electromagnetic fields to amplify quantum resonance, creating technologies that neither species could have imagined alone. The transformation was not without its challenges. Some Alliance species struggled to adapt to the chaotic creativity that humans brought to their ordered universe. Some humans found it difficult to appreciate the subtle beauty of quantum harmonics after a lifetime of electromagnetic engineering. But gradually, a new culture emerged, one that valued both harmony and creativity, order and chaos, the planned symphony and the improvised solo. Admiral Chen, now in her 70s, stood on the observation deck of New Harmony Station, watching ships from dozens of species dock at the massive facility. Some were traditional Alliance vessels, their movements creating beautiful patterns in space. Others were human designs, their electromagnetic engines adding bass notes to the cosmic symphony. And increasingly, there were hybrid ships that combined the best of both technologies. "Admiral," said Captain Yuki Tanaka, Chen's former communications officer who now commanded the station. "We've received a message from the Deep Space Exploration Fleet. They've made contact with another civilization in the Magellanic Clouds." Chen smiled. Another voice for the symphony? It appears so. They're calling themselves the Echo Collective, and they use gravitational waves for communication. The xenolinguistics team thinks they might be living sound waves that have achieved consciousness. Chen laughed. Of course they are. The universe keeps getting stranger. As she watched the busy space lanes around New Harmony Station, Chen reflected on how much had changed since that first terrifying encounter near Deep Station Theta 7. What had begun as a potentially catastrophic misunderstanding had become the foundation for something neither species could have achieved alone. The universe was vast and full of voices waiting to be heard. And now, for the first time in galactic history, there was a community dedicated to listening to all of them and helping them find their place in the great cosmic symphony. In the years that followed, historians would debate whether first contact could have been handled more smoothly. But they all agreed on one thing. The moment humans learned to sing with the stars marked the beginning of a new age in galactic civilization. The music was just beginning, and everyone was invited to join in.